Do you guys want to know what's going on? Or do we want to live in delusion? Are you so special, amazing, and awesome that there are no flaws? Because that's what I get. Anytime I criticize or talk about any issues that are going on, Pearl's just making it up. Oh, the church women are just so amazing, special, and awesome. We just can't talk about them. Pearl's just attacking, attacking, attacking. But they never stop to ask, is Pearl right? Is anything I said true? Does the shoe fit for anything? It's like narcissism to the extreme. Okay, I will show clips demonstrating the behaviors I am talking about. I am not attacking any of these people personally, but I am attacking what they are saying or doing on screen. I don't know them personally. I don't know anything other than clips I see online. I could be completely wrong about them. Again, I don't know them personally, but I will use them as examples. This is the town square. I like to give examples, okay? This is not your topic. If you come in and you say, oh, I want to give my monologue about what I want to talk about, we're not doing that. And you guys can go cry somewhere else. I don't care. Okay. Blessing. Can you show them? Do you think these are fair rules? Is there anything else?
I think these are fair rules.
Are they fair rules?
Yeah, and if you come on stream, make sure your video is on
Yeah,
as
make
well.
sure. Oh, yeah, I'll add that to my list. Make sure your video is on. Video is on. And if the shoe doesn't fit, stop crying about it. I mean, all right. Okay, so let's talk about the red pill. Now, I've gotten into a little bit of criticism recently because I was asked on a podcast, what is the red pill? And I guess I stumbled a little bit on what exactly it is because, to be fair, there is some dispute in the community. But the red pill, it is men taking notes to increase their sexual strategy. This used to happen in barbershops and male-only spaces. The men would get together and they would talk. Now it's just migrated to online. I myself am not the end-all be-all of red pill. I would say red pill is for men. I just find it interesting. You know, again, I'm just looking at what's going on. Okay? One more disclaimer. All of these women coming forward and saying, you can't generalize. You can't generalize. You can't generalize. Yes, I can. Yes, I can and I will. And if you don't like it, you can kiss my ass. How can we have conversations about anything if we can't speak in generalities? You know, are you just here to argue? If I say water is wet and then you say not all water is like that. It's like this is how it feels sometimes with you guys. It's like pulling teeth. All right. So, I need to pull up the chat. If you guys want to support this stream in any way, shape, or form, donations would be very awesome. You're not required to donate. Can we make this a little bigger in the corner at all? Just because I can't really read it on my phone, but anyways, you're not required to donate. You do not have to. But if you like what I'm doing, Cash App is PearlyThings with an S. Venmo is just_PearlyThings. I will read Venmos and Cash App. Sometimes I don't always see them, so I'm going to do my best. We're trying to create a more perfect system, but to start, Charles Piso sent me some $15 saying keeping up the good fight, and Daniel Drake paid $20 saying for the Michael Knowles debate. Thank you guys. Your contributions are honestly awesome, and it helps me keep blessing here, right, Blessing?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know, I mean, if you guys want to keep him, you know, feel free to donate. People thought you got fired because King produced the one show.
Damn. I'm here to stay, guys. Keep supporting the movement.
Okay, where do you guys call in? You're gonna call in later. Ideally, I would like to talk to Christian women first. That's who I'm trying to speak to today. That's who I'm trying to talk to. Now, We'll talk to Christian men too, but this is a conversation with the Christians. So if that's not you, or you've never been involved in church, it's okay. Just please bow out of this one. We'll have conversations next time. So I saw an article that said the Tier Fund report shows that in the UK, the ratio of women to men in church is 65% to 35%. So while men still dominate the priesthood or pastorship, statistics show that 2/3 of church memberships are women. And if you look at programs run within the church, a much higher percentage of them are led by women than men. Most people in the church have little or no say in what goes on. For a Roman Catholic, Anglican, Methodist, or Baptist, the leadership of churches dominate by men. They dominate just the priesthood, but the positions of bishops and the regional ministers. Yet, as the gender gap grows, the presence of women increasingly dominates most Western churches. While there has been an imbalance for quite some time, the recent trend shows that it's increasing. The last 20 years, 49% of men under 30 left the church. Okay, guys, you're right. There's no problem. You're right. Just shoot the messenger. There's nothing going on in church. You are so totally right. You are losing half of your young men, 50% of your young men, and there is no issue. You're right, ladies. Keep on doing what you're doing. Keep on doing what you're doing. Do you guys want to know what's going on? Do you guys want to know what the issue is? Put a 1 in the chat if you want to know. Put a 2 in the chat if everything's going just so amazing. Stop complaining, men. That's what they'll tell you. Okay, one common trope that I have heard from men that have left the church is that men feel like women and the church will never be happy. It is never enough. It is never enough. Now, why do young men feel like this? Now, I'm going to show you guys. Now, again,
I'll see you guys.
Okay. Now, by the way, again, this is not attacking. I'm a fan of Michael Knowles, but I think this rhetoric is why you see young men. Half of your young men. You guys are coming at me like I did that. I didn't create this world. Okay, so pull up the screen. All right. Now, again, this is just showing you an example of the mentality that's pushed in churches. And you see it reiterated by talk show hosts. You see it reiterated in debates. You see it reiterated everywhere. Okay?
No, they don't.
I mean,
because when women have the most choice, we don't choose marriage. Women have the most choice when it comes to commitment around the age of 22. They're not choosing to get married. I don't pay attention to what people say.
No, you mean when they have the most options, when they're the most marriageable. But
Yeah,
they
correct.
do. But you will acknowledge those women who have been duped by feminism. Maybe even after they're past their prime marriageable age.
No.
They come
Right there. Right there. And I'm just pointing this out. It's always the women were duped. The women were just, and you TradCon women are no better. Whenever you guys talk about your past, it's always everybody else's fault but yours. How do we get anywhere if we keep giving women a get out of jail free card? It's not you were duped. It's not you were young. It's not you were naive. It's you did it because you wanted to. Why is that so crazy to get through people's heads? Everything's everyone else's fault. I don't live like that. You know, we don't give young men that same grace. So, okay. Now, this is just, I'm drawing attention to the language that we use in church. Or it's fine, everything's the men's fault. Just keep doing what you're doing, fellas. Just keep doing what you're doing. Shame the men into staying. I'm sure that'll work. Blessing, do you think that works?
Oh no.
No. Blessing, but why? Okay, and maybe you guys can tell me. If there are two women, I had two friends in high school, okay? We all went to the same high school. We all came from two-parent homes. None of us came from perfect homes, but we all made different choices. I had one friend that decided she was a diehard Catholic. She got married at 22, waited till she was married, and I think she's on her second kid now. She was also like our valedictorian. This girl killed everything she did. She was amazing. Then there was another girl in my school who I haven't kept up with her in years, but I wouldn't be surprised if she was like on OnlyFans or something these days. I don't know what she's doing, but the way she behaved, if you guys know what you know what I mean. Choices, decision, free will. We are responsible for our own sin. I look, that's what I believe. And if you think that makes me not religious enough, that's going to make the men not religious enough too. Keep losing men. Keep doing what you guys are doing. Okay. So what I see in churches, and now I'd like to preface, there are three types of men or three types of people I generally see in church. Please don't talk to me about the exceptions. I know there are exceptions. I know it's not all bad. But these are the general trends, and by the way, in case Blessings Church is watching, no, I'm not.
Give them a disclaimer, please.
Disclaimer. I'm not saying his church is like this, but it probably now. Sorry.
Damn it.
It probably is super special and different. Just, please don't give my man Blessing like any trouble at church. Please let him have a good time, Please don't. Now, okay.
Thank you for that.
What?
Thank you for that disclaimer.
Did it help or hurt?
Nah, it's so good.
Okay.
Let's leave it like
that. Okay. So there's three categories of people that I see in church. Now, the first thing I've noticed is simp men in church tend to take the biggest L's I have ever seen in my life. And it's worse. It's worse. Okay, let me show you guys this. All right, I'm going to show you. This was a chastity speaker that came to my high school. Now, I want you guys to put yourself, I was in sales, right? I worked in sales. And if a product wasn't selling, and I'm not saying women are products, but I'm going to look at them in this way so I can explain a concept. If a product isn't selling, the worst thing you can do is shame the customer and say, bad customer, you are wrong for not buying this product. You got to ask, what's wrong? Why don't people want to buy? Is it the product? Is it the salesperson? Why aren't they buying? The worst thing ever, I sold copiers. The worst thing ever I could do. And I sold the worst product ever, okay? Was go into a sale and say, you guys are, not all copiers are like that. Not all copiers are like, there are good copiers. I sell good copiers. You would look at me like I'm crazy. But if I say anything about the issues with church women and the reasons men are leaving, then I'm the bad guy, okay? Now, this is a church woman that's going around. They went to my high school. I remember them because I thought this sounded crazy when I was in high school too. This is her testimony. And I want to ask you guys if you think this sounds like a win for men. This sounds like something they would want to sign up for and buy. This wife, okay? Now, okay.
What is love? Well, for me, my father left when I was 2, and I was surrounded by aunts and uncles and even my grandmother who was divorced. So for me, love didn't last. Love was temporary, and it wasn't a forever thing. So that carried into my relationships. When I was about a sophomore in high school, I had my first serious relationship. And after a while of dating, we thought we were in love and everything was great. And slowly, the pressure started to set into the relationship. And it came to the point where he said, well, girl, if you really love me,
So I'm just pointing this out. It's all him, right? You weren't sexual at all. What are church women known for being sexual, Blessing?
They do go crazy, some of them, I'm not gonna lie. I am not going to lie there.
Do you think, okay, as a man, when you hear this story, do you believe that it was all him?
Hell no.
I mean, and ladies, I'm trying to explain how men hear this. You're right, you were just used, okay?
You truly love me, you'd prove it to me. You'd show me just how much you love me. So I needed advice. So I went to my girlfriends and I said, well,
now it's the friend's fault. Now, to be fair, we do give each other terrible advice. We totally do. But I want you to, guys, when you said I did something wrong and you said, oh, well, he wanted me to do it. Now, again, I'm going to tell you guys a story. You love my stories. When I was in high school, okay, when I was in high school, for the most part, I was pretty mild. I didn't really, I played 3 sports. I was so enthralled in volleyball, in basketball. I just didn't have a lot of free time. It's been a common theme throughout my life. I've always just been a busy gal, okay? Now, my last summer before I left for college, I wanted to throw a very small party. Now I know everyone's going to say, Pearl's the word. Okay, whatever, you know. Now, to be fair, now, I got caught. And when I got caught, I did the same thing she's doing there. Look, and I'm still a woman, all right? But I did do the same thing. I was like, but Dad, my friends. My dad was having none of that. He said, if your friends jumped off a bridge, would you too? Don't you hate that? And yeah, and they sent me, I was grounded for they sent me to rural Wisconsin. And I learned a lesson. Okay, I learned a lesson. I never did it again. I never, would I have learned that lesson if my dad let me get away with saying that? If my dad said to me, Hannah, they call me by my first name, Hannah, you're right, it was your friends, you poor baby. That's what you guys do with female sin. That's why your women are going crazy, because you coddle them and you tell them exactly what they want to hear. And I know, because I grew up around you Catholic women, all right? None of you will fool me, okay? So we're going to keep going. He
kind of wants to do this with me and he wants to do that. And they said, well, what's wrong with you? Everybody's doing it. You love him, right? And I thought, well, yeah, I love him. So at the age of 15, I lost my virginity thinking it was going to cause this huge, great emotional bond between us and we'd be on cloud 9 and so in love. And in all actuality, eventually it destroyed any love we had in that relationship, and all respect was just thrown out the window. Because if I couldn't even respect my own body, how is he supposed to respect it? And after a while of dating, it seemed like he didn't want to spend time with me anymore. He was basically spending the time with my body. And when a girl is being used,
there it is. Okay, do you know what I noticed, guys? I have never seen more sexuality than from women. Now, what do I mean by this? If you go to a male rock concert, I have never seen men approaching women at a concert or in a setting. Okay, let me explain this in a different way. When I go to a concert, women are trying so hard to sleep with the man on stage. I use Drake as an example a lot. They throw bras at him. They throw panties at him. And I've seen this with high-end male celebrities. Dan Bilzerian has slept with 1,000 women. Okay? Women are sexual. At times more sexual than men. So when a woman has sex she wants to have, why is she being used? Now, I don't really care how you academically say men and women are different. It doesn't really matter to me. I'm just looking at what I see. I look at reality. And the problem is many church men have never had a woman be very sexual towards them. So they think women are these innocent creatures. Sorry to burst your bubble, guys. Okay? Now, let's pull it up.
knows it. She knows it in the depths of her heart. She may deny it, she may ignore it, but she knows it, and I knew it. And after a while, we were constantly fighting. He was cheating on me, and we broke up and went our separate ways. Now, I will never forget the day when he walked away from me for the very last time. And as he walked away from me...
Now, I want you guys to understand how men are going to hear this, okay? I just want you to understand. This isn't what I think. This is how men think. Men don't generally break up with women. So, generally speaking, if a man hears you were dumped, they think you're crazy. Now, I'm not saying every girl's got a different situation. As women, I know all you guys hear is your situation. I'm not saying. I'm saying this is how men will hear this, okay? Am I wrong, Blessing? Am I lying?
No, you know that.
Am I telling the truth or am I lying?
Speaking the truth. For me.
I could think about.
But not at his church.
Yeah.
Let him come back. Let my man come back.
Was that guy's taking something with him that never belonged to him in the first place. But I can't get it back, right? What's the point? It's already gone. So there I was in the cafeteria talking with my girlfriends. And I came to this conclusion, okay, if a guy can date me for about 6 months without sleeping with me, then he must love me. Then I'll sleep with him. And I think now 6 months. 6 months is the...
Okay, this is a lie. Guys wouldn't deal with us if there wasn't sex involved. Look, I'm just being real here, ladies. I know this isn't going to sound nice, okay? Most men, now I understand like working, I understand other fine. But most men are not trying to deal with most women unless there's a possibility of having sex. That's part of it for men. It's the church acts like that's not important. It is to men, all right?
Price that I put on my body. If he gives me just a little bit of that time, just a little bit of that attention, that's the
little? I mean, 6 months, not a little. Sorry. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Definition of love. And I carried this mentality all through high school. He was the first guy that I slept with, but he wasn't the last because sin took me further than I ever wanted to go or ever expected to go. Now, after a while of living this lifestyle, I got into the partying, I got into the drinking, I got into the clubbing, I got into the drugs. You name it, I was into it. And granted, at the time, yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun. It was very attractive, and I know what that's like. But I also know what it's like to wake up the next day when that party's over, when your friends are gone, and when you're there by yourself. And I remember waking up thinking, I can't believe I did that last night. I hope I don't have to see his face in the hallway at school on Monday. What if everybody finds out what we did? All of these things constantly going through my head. But the night before, my friends would always say, oh, it's all fun and games. Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. But the next day, the fun and games were over. And I remember one day waking up so disgusted and overwhelmed with the feeling of worthlessness. And I thought to myself, what's not the big deal here? My body, my self-respect, my dignity, what's not the big deal here? And I wasn't happy. And I knew I wasn't happy, but I thought, well, I'm damaged goods. It's already too late. There's nothing I can do. Now, after a while of living this lifestyle, my mother had an idea what was going on with me. And she said, well, there's a chastity talk at a church this weekend, and you're going. And I said, what? I said, I am not going to a chastity talk to listen to some guy talk about sex. Thanks, but no thanks. She said, well, you're going if you like it or not. And I said, okay, fine. I'll sit in the back of the church for 15 minutes, and then I'm out of there. I have a party to go to. I have friends to see. I don't have time. But in that 15 minutes, God had changed my life because he is the God of second chances. And there was this guy that got up and he talked about all of the partying, all of the sex, all the pornography, everything that he had been into, and he just laid it out. And I felt like that guy, he had grabbed my hand out of the audience and he walked through my life. Like he could see the things I was most ashamed of and hiding. And I just watched him. That he carried about himself that I didn't see that in my friends. I didn't see that in the places I went to, and I definitely didn't see that in the guys.
Okay, and I'd like to clarify right now. There's nothing wrong with her changing her life. I am not shaming or faulting that. What I am telling you is men are not dying to wife up women that have crazy pasts. And that's the problem in the church, is you parade around these women as your speakers, and that becomes the quality of the women in the church. And you're telling women they can get a get out of jail free card, when in all honesty, for every one woman that it works out for, there's 10 women it didn't. Okay? Wait, let me play the rest. Because I know she ends up like getting married to another guy, having kids, everything, right? But is that a win for men? The new guy had to wait to have sex with her till marriage, when all the other guys got it for free. I mean, is this a win for men? I want you to think about it from the man's point of view. Guys that bust their ass to become something. They work their whole lives to become better at talking to women, to improve their social skills, to make money, to be handsome, to be charismatic. And the church says, yes, here are the women that we will reward you. This is common. And the problem you get with these women is many of them are not attracted to their husbands, because the reason they had sex with the first guys was because they were attracted to them. There are many church men and women in sexless marriages with women that have used sex to control their husbands, and they do it from the beginning to get commitment from them. They do this early on. Okay, but we're going to get into that later.
Was dating. But he had one quality above all of them that I wanted more than anything, and it's that he wasn't ashamed of himself. I sat in my seat trying to figure out one day after I started living that lifestyle of just true peace and joy, not worried what I'd done prior that night, prior that weekend, always worried, but never any peace. And I realized in that moment, I needed to get my standards out of the gutter and raise them as high as I possibly could and start respecting my body.
This will not work for most women. Some women, if they're attractive enough to pull this off, they can do it. But I was in sales, so imagine, this is the Christian woman product, okay? This is the Christian woman product. She did all the partying. She did all the everything. She lowered the value. Now she's asking for a higher price while doing nothing but praying. I'm sorry, it doesn't work like that to men. And if it did work like that, you guys would have a better reputation. Do not blame me for the reputation that church women have. It would be more useful to say to women, hey, if you want to wait till marriage, you are going to have to provide a hell of a lot of value outside of sex. That is going to be very difficult to acquire if that's what you want to do now. But we say pray and God will give you a husband. There are women that works for, but I'm not in the business of selling dreams. That is not what I've seen. What I have seen from country to country is churches filled with women, single mothers, ex-party girls, and simps. Nobody's getting together. I don't see young families in churches anymore. I see the same problems happening across the board. And you guys keep shooting the messenger like I did something to do this. I'm just telling you what's going on.
For once, and start respecting my God. Now, our God is the God of second chances. And he changed my life. He turned me around and he gave me the grace.
Yes, God can forgive women, but men do not have to accept your previous sin. Men don't have to do it. And ladies, if you have a brother or a father maybe that's dating again, a man in your life that you love, you would never want them to be put in a situation where they're dating a woman with a crazy, crazy past. Okay?
To get out of that lifestyle. And I tried so many times to get out of that lifestyle on my own because I was miserable. I wasn't happy. I was disgusted with myself. And I just needed to get out. And I tried so many times and I promised myself, I'm never going to do that again. And then the next weekend, I was doing the same exact things. But then I realized when you ask the grace from God and I begged him to get me out of that lifestyle, he did. And if you really want to turn your life around, if you really want to start over, you have to do it with Jesus or you're going to fall right.
That's fine. Yes, you should do it with Jesus. But don't expect men to make your problem theirs. And that's what I'm talking about. You guys keep saying I'm shaming the forgiveness. I'm shaming her changing her life. No, that's a good thing. But her and her husband would go around and give these chastity talks across the country. It's always the same. You can take it off. It's always the same story. It's always the woman with a promiscuous past. You can take off the video. It's always the woman with the promiscuous past with the man that was a virgin. It's generally the same story, okay? Occasionally you get it the other way around. And we reward these women. What would be more effective, actually, churches, if you want notes from Pearl, what would be more effective would be showing all of the women it didn't work out for. Stop selling hope and dreams. I don't know why you guys make that the business. Many women try this, it doesn't work, and there's consequences, and I see them in your pews. Sometimes I wonder if the church wants to leave women single so they can get more money, because single women fund a lot of these churches. I question that sometimes. Now, I'm going to talk about some of the archetypes that I see in church. Okay, so I talked about simp men. Simp men tend to take the biggest L's. They tend to have little experience with women, so they tend to simp for a lifetime. Many of these men will tell this to you themselves or brag about it. They tend to, I think I read this already. They tend to put women on a pedestal. I read this, right? Should I read it again?
Just one more time for the simps out there.
Okay, I can remember. Okay, so simp men tend to take the biggest L's. These are the men that tend to go on stage and brag about wifing up an ex-ho. They brag about this. They tend to have little experience with women, so they simp for a lifetime. Many of these men will tell you themselves or even brag about it. Any sexual activity, he will always blame the men because in general, they have never been sexually pursued by a woman. They have no idea what that's like. They tend to put women on a pedestal and make them godlike. They tend to be the biggest suckers. They tend to make everything the man's fault if the relationship goes south. They tend to believe in born-again virgins and sign up for that. Okay, the next archetype, I'm actually going to go to the controlling wives. Now, there's the simps, the controlling wives, and the born-again virgins. Now, the controlling wives, we don't know about their past. Many of them have pasts. Many of them don't have pasts. But the commonality with the controlling wives is none of them have evidence of anything. Nothing major anyways. Okay, many of these wives marry men they don't like and make everyone else pay for it. Many of these women love to lecture us on what godly men are despite not being a virgin themselves. They have no humility. They constantly pick at their husband's flaws by saying he is not a godly man. And God himself gets to decide. Oh, shoot. Hold on.
I'll say today, you're preaching today, pal. You're preaching.
Hold on. Ah, freaking. Hold on. One second. Sorry.
Can I get some ones in the chat if you feel like Pearl is preaching today?
I'll do it again. All right.
So all the
Sorry,
guys on
sorry,
X, all
sorry.
3,000 new on X, if you can hit the like button, that'd be
Sorry,
amazing.
sorry. I had a little emergency, but it's okay. It's all right. All right. The Christian women in the chat, they're like, God got her to shut up. No, I'm coming back, bitches. Sorry. Okay. All right. Again, Christian women, I don't see a difference between you guys and the general population. You guys tend to be just as spiteful, vindictive, and outright mean as general women. Okay, so again, these women love to lecture us on what godly men are. Despite not being virgins themselves, they constantly pick at their husband's flaws by saying he is not a godly man, as if they are God themselves and get to decide. These are the same women that say, I am not godly enough to talk about this. The way that women react to me, take notes, guys, because that is how they will react to you. I am just a random stranger on the internet. You'll be married to these women. Watch out, have fun. Christian women have a tendency to use the Bible to control their husbands and tell them how to talk. Remember, the way that women react to red pill is how they react to hearing information they do not like. Remember, the red pill is simply men trading notes. It's simply men. It's locker room talk, barbershop talk. Imagine being home and that's how your wife will react if she hears anything she doesn't like. You will see these women call me hateful, problematic, harmful. These are the Christian women that are at school meetings telling you how to raise your children. These are the women that force the you know what on everybody. These are the mask women oftentimes. These women weaponize sex against their husbands. Shame. I see the same shame, insult, guilt, and need to be right from Christian women that I see from normal women. There is no difference. If there was a difference, again, don't blame me for your reputation. All right. They will call everyone else of this world as if they themselves hold the keys to to heaven, as if they themselves give out these keys. That's what you'll see. Oh, you're just worldly. What the hell does that supposed to mean, crazy lady? So are you. All right. They love the verse, husbands must love their wives as Christ loves the church. Yet at the same time, will tell men how to talk, tell men to watch their tone, tell men to watch their delivery. That doesn't sound like submission, ladies. Okay, if Christian women leave marriages, they need a reason. Christian women will band together to label a man abuser, oppressive, and evil if the woman chose to leave. The woman is always right. As I have said this many times before, we saw this with Lauren Southern, Steven Crowder. Everybody banded together. Nobody called out the holes in their story. You will see conservative women rally behind divorced women and still call them more Christian than me, even though they chose to break up their own home. And what does that affect? Oh my gosh, the children. Women care more about women's reputation than they care about children. This stuff leads to divorce. This stuff is serious. And yet everything is Pearl's fault. Christian women tend to be very concerned with power. They want the power to preach and exert control over their husbands. They are more concerned with looking good than doing good. Christian women swear they cannot trust their husband because he is not godly enough. They will swear they are the arbiters of what makes a man godly. They will swear they are the arbiters of what makes a man a real man. Who are you to decide? If the relationship goes south, it is always his fault. Christian women also live in fear. Many of them also excuse women's divorces by labeling the abuse of men. If there was no police report filed, I don't believe you. Get a police report. Go to the police, get a report. Otherwise, you're just going to let us all get beat up by this guy. That doesn't make any sense. These are the women who are used to defining what they love defining what Christ looks like loving the church. And if their husbands don't measure up, these women are gone. Nada. Naski. They leave just like normal women. When the wife, when the wives, Christian wives often blame everything that is going wrong in their marriage on the husband not believing in Christianity. I often hear the citation studied, or I often hear the citation that when men go to church, the whole family follows. What Christian women do is they weaponize this study and make it the husband's problem that they're not godly enough. When really they should be asking, if they're so godly, why doesn't their husband want to go to church with them? If you're so pleasant and amazing to be around. I hate to break it to you, but I find non-religious men more godlike than 90% of Christian women. Yes, you 10%. There is 10% maybe of Christian women that are so awesome and pure, and I love meeting them. You know, I'll give you know, Bryson Gray, he's married, and his wife, she's like the sweetest woman. I just felt her like innocence and like kindness just being there for the day, okay? These women exist, but they are rare. They are the exception. They are not the rule. What is more common is what I am describing. Why is this your reputation? All right, servant leader. Christian women love this verse. And by servant leader, generally Christian women mean to put his wants and his needs last always. I mean, servant leader, this sounds, the way you guys describe it, it sounds like slavery to me. And don't get mad at me when you're losing half of young men. This isn't me. I didn't do this. I'm just pointing out the problem. When you interview 1,000 people, you start to see some patterns and trends of behavior. Women's groups have a reputation of being gossip centers, where women simply gossip and speak ill of their husbands.